We will look at the Serena Witt case, which happened in 1970 in El Monte, California, which was one of the most shocking cases of that era. Serena Witt, a promising young woman, was brutally murdered on her wedding day by her husband, Corbin Dre, a notorious local criminal. The case left a deep wound in the community and attracted a lot of public attention. Serena Witt, born in 1948, is a young woman with a gentle beauty and a sharp mind. Serena grew up in El Monte, a quiet town in California, in a typical middle-class family. Her father was an engineer, a quiet but dedicated man, and her mother was an elementary school teacher who instilled in Serena a love of knowledge and compassion from an early age. Serena was raised in a loving and disciplined environment. Her family not only focused on intellectual development, but also placed special attention on moral education and life values. Her mother, with her gentle and delicate nature, often told Serena stories about kindness and patience, things she always believed would help her daughter grow up to be a woman who was both intelligent and kind. El Monte, with its quiet streets and close-knit community, was where Serena had a peaceful childhood filled with beautiful memories. She was a curious and inquisitive girl, always seeking to learn more about the world around her through the books her mother often bought. It was the hours of reading with her mother that nurtured in Serena an endless love of knowledge and understanding. She often spent hours reading books, from classic literature to books on science and history. In addition to studying, Serena also participated in many extracurricular activities. She is an active member of the book club at school and regularly participates in charity events organized by her mother. These activities not only help Serena broaden her horizons, but also train her to be compassionate and love for the community. Serena has always been known as a gentle and kind person. People around her love her not only for her beautiful appearance, but also for her warm and sincere personality. She is always ready to help others, even in the smallest things. Serena believes that every good deed can create a positive change, no matter how small. Serena grew up with a clear vision for her future. She wanted to become a teacher, like her mother, so that she could pass on knowledge and values to the next generation. For Serena, education is not only about imparting knowledge, but also a way to help students develop their personalities and find the right direction in life. Serena also dreams of traveling around the world to explore different cultures and broaden her horizons. However, she always believed that she would return to El Monte, where she grew up, to give back to the community with what she learned. For her, El Monte was not only her birthplace, but also an integral part of her life. Serena has a very close relationship with her family. Her parents have always been her biggest supporters, encouraging her to pursue her dreams and live by the values they instilled in her. Serena often talks to her mother about the books she is reading, what she is learning in school, and her dreams and ambitions. Her mother is not only a teacher but also a friend, always ready to listen and give useful advice. Serena also has a close group of friends since her teenage years. They grew up together, sharing the joys and sorrows of life. Serena's friends always admire her for her intelligence and kindness. They know that Serena will always be the first to lend a helping hand when someone is in trouble. Serena is a person who values the relationships around her. She always tries to keep in touch with everyone, no matter how busy life is. For her, every friend and every family member is an important part of her life. Corbin Dre, on the other hand, born in 1946, is a man with a sinful past and many illegal activities. Born and raised in a poor family in El Monte, California, Corbin faced difficulties in life from an early age. His family, living in a poor and socially unstable neighborhood, could not provide Corbin with a solid educational and moral foundation. This contributed to his early involvement in the path of crime. Corbin Dre's childhood was a long series of difficult and deprived days. His parents were both manual laborers, working hard but with very unstable incomes. They often struggled to make ends meet, which forced Corbin to fend for himself from a young age. He grew up in a rundown home where arguments between his parents over financial pressures were common. The family turmoil contributed to Corbin's withdrawn and tough personality. El Monte, where Corbin grew up, was a crime-ridden and gang-ridden area. Children in the area were often exposed to illegal activities from a young age, and Corbin was no exception. With little parental supervision, young Corbin was drawn into the underworld of local gangs. His early relationships were with other children growing up in similar circumstances, and together they began engaging in petty criminal acts such as theft and vandalism. By the time he reached adolescence, Corbin had become a leading member of a local gang. He quickly distinguished himself for his daring and ability to use violence to solve problems. Not one to shy away from dangerous behavior, Corbin steadily rose through the gang's ranks, from a small-time errand boy to a notorious gangster. Corbin's intelligence and assertive personality helped him build a fearsome image in the criminal community. He was involved not only in theft and drug trafficking, but also in more serious activities such as extortion and violence. Everyone in the area knows Corbin is a dangerous man, someone no one wants to mess with. Despite his sinful past and present, Corbin Dre knows how to build a completely different image for himself on the outside. He is very skillful at hiding his true self and showing a completely different side to those who do not know his past. On the outside, Corbin is a charming man, with a rugged appearance and sharp eyes. He has the ability to attract others, especially women, by displaying a confident and elegant demeanor. Corbin knew how to say what people wanted to hear, and he always knew how to make himself appear trustworthy. This made it easy for him to build relationships with many people in the community, from small-time merchants to those in higher positions. It was this charm and charisma that allowed Corbin to cover up his illegal activities for so long. Women were especially drawn to Corbin. He had the ability to make them feel special and loved, something that not all men could do. However, these relationships often did not last, because Corbin had a tendency to exploit their trust for his own gain. The women who loved him, after realizing who Corbin really was, often felt betrayed and deeply hurt. Serena Witt and Corbin Dre first met in 1968, when Serena, then 20 years old, was participating in a charity event in the poor area where Corbin lived in El Monte, California. Serena grew up in a middle-class family, where she was taught to be compassionate and sympathetic towards the less fortunate. Charity work has been a big part of her life, and it has taken her to places she never thought she would, places with difficult and challenging living conditions. One time, Serena and her charity group went to distribute food and clothes to needy families in the area. As she was distributing food to the children, her eyes met a rugged and mysterious man. It was Corbin Dre. From the very first moment, Serena was attracted to Corbin's charming yet mysterious appearance. He was unlike anyone she had ever met. He had a rugged beauty, a magnetic presence that was a mixture of danger and charm. Corbin, now 22, had lived a rough life. He had grown up in a neighborhood where crime and poverty seemed to be an inseparable part of him. Even though she knew that Serena was different from him, a bright, intelligent girl from a good family, Corbin couldn't help but be drawn to her purity and kindness. Even knowing Corbin's criminal past, Serena felt that there was something different about him. In subsequent conversations, Corbin revealed a different side of himself, one that few people knew about. He spoke of the hardships he had endured, the mistakes he had made, and his desire to find a better life. Corbin's words, whether they were sincere confessions or manipulations, touched Serena's kind heart. Serena believed that Corbin was not a bad person. She believed that circumstances had driven him to crime, and that with the right help, he could change. With a strong belief in the ability of people to change, Serena began to spend more time with Corbin. They walked the quiet streets of El Monte together, sharing stories about their lives, their dreams, and what they wanted for the future. Serena's family and friends began to notice a change in her. She was no longer the carefree girl she once was, but seemed to be caught up in a complicated relationship. They worried about her, especially when they learned about Corbin's dark past. Those closest to Serena tried to warn her, but love and compassion made Serena ignore them all. She believed that her love could save Corbin, that she could be the light that would lead him out of the darkness. Serena and Corbin's relationship developed quickly. Within a year of meeting, in 1969, Corbin proposed to Serena. It was a time of mixed emotions. Corbin, who had always lived in a dangerous and violent world, knelt before Serena with a simple but meaningful ring. He spoke of his love for her, of his dream of a new life with her, a life far removed from his sinful past. Serena, despite the strong opposition of her family and friends, did not hesitate to accept the proposal. She believed that her love was strong enough to change Corbin, to help him become the person he always wanted to be, a good man, living an honest life. With that belief, she decided to face all the difficulties and challenges that this relationship brought. When Serena announced her decision, her family fell into a state of confusion and extreme anxiety. They could not understand why Serena, a smart and kind girl, could choose a man like Corbin, a man with a sinful and dangerous past. Serena's mother tried to convince her to leave the relationship, but it was all in vain. Serena loved Corbin too much and believed she could change him. Serena's friends were no exception. They held many meetings, tried to talk her out of it, and warned her of the dangers she would face if she married Corbin. But Serena remained steadfast in her decision. She believed that she knew Corbin better than anyone, and she had a strong belief that love could overcome anything. Before their marriage, Serena Witt discovered that Corbin Dre had an affair with another woman named Isolde Merrick before they were married. Serena had known about the affair quite early on, when she and Corbin were just getting to know each other and falling in love. Rumors of Corbin's secret relationship with Isolde reached Serena, and that made her worried. However, Corbin always appeared apologetic and assured that the relationship with Isolde was in the past, had no meaning, and would not affect his feelings for Serena. Serena, with her faith in love and youthful optimism, decided to give Corbin a chance. She believed that if they got married, her true love and forgiveness would be enough to help Corbin let go of his past and become a better man. Serena also thought that once they were officially married, Corbin would realize the value of family and cut off all contact with Isolde. During this time, Serena tried to ignore the signs of a relationship between Corbin and Isolde. She convinced herself that everything would change after they got married. Despite receiving numerous warnings from friends and family about the potential dangers of marrying someone like Corbin, Serena was determined to go ahead with the marriage. She believed that her love was strong enough to overcome the hardships and challenges. However, the truth was that the relationship between Corbin and Isolde never really ended. Isolde, with her charm and manipulation, continued to keep Corbin under her control. Despite his promise to Serena, Corbin could not end the relationship, and he continued to secretly see Isolde, keeping it a secret from Serena. June 12, 1970, what should have been the happiest day of Serena Witt's life, turned into a dark and bloody day. Serena, in a pure white wedding dress, with a radiant smile, walked into the local church in El Monte, California, to exchange vows with Corbin Dre, the man she trusted and loved, despite his dark past. Serena's family and friends were all present to witness this sacred moment, hoping that the marriage would bring her happiness. The ceremony took place in a solemn yet cozy atmosphere. Prayers resounded in the solemnity of the church, and everyone was silent as Serena and Corbin exchanged their vows. But no one expected that, beneath Corbin's calm exterior, there was a terrible plot. As the ceremony neared its end, at the moment Serena was about to say her vows, Corbin suddenly changed his attitude. His face turned cold and his eyes were sharp, a far cry from the gentle image he had shown since the beginning of the ceremony. To everyone's surprise, Corbin pulled out a sharp knife from his jacket. Without warning, without any forewarning, he stabbed Serena straight in the chest. The guests' horrified screams echoed throughout the church. Serena collapsed to the floor, blood soaking her pure white wedding dress. Her eyes were wide open, filled with horror and pain, unable to believe that the man she loved and trusted could do such a cruel thing. Everything happened so fast that no one could intervene in time. Corbin, without a moment of hesitation or remorse, quickly fled the scene immediately after committing the heinous act. People could not believe their eyes when they saw him running out of the church, and were even more shocked to discover that Isolde Merrick, a woman who had been romantically involved with Corbin since before he married Serena, was waiting outside. The two fled together, leaving behind a broken wedding and an unimaginable tragedy. Isolde, who was believed to have pushed Corbin to commit this heinous act, was a scheming and calculating woman. She took advantage of Corbin's feelings, manipulating him to eliminate Serena, whom she considered the biggest obstacle in their relationship. The two planned to make Serena's wedding day the last day of her life. Everyone present at the church that day, from family, friends to acquaintances, could not believe what had just happened. They came to witness a happy wedding, but instead they witnessed a bloody and painful scene. The sight of Serena falling in her white wedding dress, her blood dripping onto the floor of the church, was etched into their minds, becoming a wound that would never heal. After the brutal murder that took place on Serena Witt's wedding day, the El Monte police immediately embarked on a large-scale manhunt to capture Corbin Dre and Isolde Merrick. The case shocked the community, not only because of the brutality but also because of the manner in which Corbin and Isolde carried out their actions, in the middle of a sacred service with many people watching. Witnesses at the scene provided police with detailed descriptions of Corbin and Isolde, as well as the direction they fled. Police cordoned off the area around the church and set up checkpoints on major roads to prevent any escape attempts by the couple. However, Corbin and Isolde quickly disappeared, apparently with elaborate plans to hide. The investigation became complicated when Corbin and Isolde left few clear traces. Police used all their resources, including assistance from federal law enforcement agencies, to search for the two criminals. In the following weeks, police searched dozens of abandoned homes, wooded areas, and locations where they suspected Corbin and Isolde might be hiding. Each time, they received new tips from the public, but none of the leads led to a final result. The search continued without any clear results until police received an important tip from a witness who said he saw a couple who looked like Corbin and Isolde at a gas station in the Los Angeles suburbs. According to the witness, the couple looked alert and in a hurry, which made the witness suspicious and decided to report it to the police. The police quickly investigated and verified this information. They found surveillance cameras at the gas station and realized that the couple in the footage were Corbin and Isolde. From there, investigators began to narrow the search, focusing on suburban areas and places where the couple might be hiding. Other witnesses also began to come forward with more information after news of the case spread widely. Some reported seeing two people who looked like Corbin and Isolde at convenience stores and small restaurants in the area. This information led police to track the couple down, leading them to an abandoned house in the Los Angeles suburbs, where Corbin and Isolde were eventually arrested. The day Corbin Dre and Isolde Merrick were arrested is a day that will be remembered in the history of the El Monte police force. After locating them, police planned a raid on the abandoned house where Corbin and Isolde were hiding. To ensure their safety and avoid any incidents, a task force was mobilized, including a SWAT team and negotiators. The raid took place in the early hours of the morning, when police believed Corbin and Isolde might be caught off guard. They surrounded the house from several sides, ensuring there was no escape route for the couple. When the police stormed in, Corbin and Isolde attempted to fight back, but were ultimately unable to escape the police cordon. At the time of his arrest, Corbin was still carrying the knife he used to kill Serena. This action not only showed cruelty, but also showed that Corbin had no intention of repenting for his actions. On the contrary, he was defiant and uncooperative with the police. Isolde, who was always by Corbin's side, also showed no signs of remorse. She remained cold and silent, not responding to the accusations. After the arrest of Corbin and Isolde, The police conducted a thorough investigation into what had happened and the real motive behind this brutal murder. Through interrogations, the police discovered that Isolde had played a significant role in motivating Corbin to commit this heinous act. She took advantage of Corbin's feelings and vulnerability to convince him to eliminate Serena, whom she considered an enemy in their complicated relationship. The investigation also revealed that Corbin and Isolde had planned the murder before the wedding day, with the goal of making Serena's wedding the last day of her life. Evidence collected at the scene and testimony from acquaintances of the two showed that Isolde masterminded the entire plan, while Corbin carried it out under her control. The coldness and lack of remorse shown by Corbin and Isolde after their arrest sent shivers down the spines of the police and the community. Not only did they commit murder, but they also showed incredible cruelty and indifference. This only added to the anger and grief of Serena's family and friends, who lost a child and a friend in the most tragic of circumstances. In late 1970, the trial of Corbin Dre and Isolde Merrick attracted a great deal of public and media attention. The brutality of the case, coupled with the public nature of the murders, generated a great deal of public interest. Those who knew Serena Witt, as well as those in the El Monte community, were eager for a just sentence for the two criminals. During the trial, Corbin Dre, who appeared cold and emotionless, confessed to all of his murders. In court, Corbin testified that he had become so obsessed with Isolde Merrick that he lost his mind. He admitted that his blind love and Isolde's manipulations had led him to kill his newly wife. This confession, although expected, still sent shivers down the spines of many in the courtroom. Corbin, who Serena once trusted and loved, turned into a murderer on her wedding day. Isolde Merrick, throughout the trial, remained cold and silent, showing little remorse. Although she denied masterminding the murder, the evidence in Corbin's testimony proved that she was not only the instigator but also an accomplice in the entire scheme. Isolde took advantage of Corbin's vulnerability, manipulating and exploiting him to eliminate Serena, whom she saw as an obstacle to her relationship with Corbin. As the evidence was presented, from witness statements to physical evidence found at the crime scene, the picture of a ruthless conspiracy emerged. The prosecution convincingly presented Isolde's complicity, emphasizing that she played an integral role in leading Corbin to commit murder. At the end of the trial, Corbin Dre was sentenced to death for murder. This sentence was considered appropriate given the severity of the crime he had committed. Isolde Merrick, although not directly involved in the murder, but as an accomplice, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This was the maximum sentence given to her, reflecting the outrage of the court and the public at her actions. The trial ended in a tense and emotional atmosphere. Serena's family and friends, who lost a loved one in tragic circumstances, are relieved that justice has been served, but the pain of loss remains. The public, especially the people of El Monte, continue to express their outrage and pain over Serena Witt's death. They condemn the cruel actions of Corbin and Isolde, seeing the case as a warning about the dangers of blind love and manipulation.